If you think the Baltimore Ravens are better than the Pittsburgh Steelers, then I want you guys to like this video. I think the Steelers are potentially due for some regression this year, and the Ravens, in theory, should be healthier. So if you think Baltimore is better on the field than Pittsburgh, show it by liking this video right now. Tom Downey here for Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports. Today we're taking a look at the top draft needs for the Ravens with the 2022 NFL Draft not far away. We're talking less or about 2 weeks or so. Let's get down to the top needs, beginning with edge rusher, that 3-4 outside linebacker. For a while, it seemed like this need was no more. The team had agreed to a deal with Za'Darius Smith. They were locked and loaded. Then that ended up not being the case. So they have Odafe Oweh. Beyond that, edge rusher isn't quite solidified. Do you trust guys to stay healthy? You got some guys banged up. Tyus Bowser's banged up right now. We'll have to wait and see on that one. So what I'm doing for each of these needs is looking at a possible round 1 pick and then a round 2 or a round 3 or later draft option. The round 1 option is Jermaine Johnson. I think he fits as a 3-4 outside linebacker. I would argue a good fit opposite Odafe Oweh. Johnson's a really good run stopper. He offers value in that area. He can set your edge and still bring you pressure. He is a very real candidate. If he's there, there could be an early run on edges in round 1. A day 2 pick could be Nik Bonitto out of Oklahoma, who really does fit that 3-4 style. His pressure rate is better than any player in this year's class. Despite that, only 7 sacks. He didn't finish as much as you would like. I'd also point out the Oklahoma defense is a bit unusual. There were some more freed up reps for Bonitto than you might expect out of a premier pass rusher, but that's okay. He'll get plenty of one-on-one matchups in the NFL because Odafe Oweh is still your number 1 edge rusher. So Bonitto, whether it's round 2 or maybe ideally round 3, could be a good target for the Ravens, and he is a strong scheme fit. I want to know from you guys, what position do the Ravens need to address in this year's draft? They got to come out of the draft with this position in round 1 or round 2 or even multiple picks. I'm going to make this question the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Number 2 need, left out the number there. Cornerback. The top of the grouping is fine. I don't really know if Jimmy Smith offers you anything at this stage or what his future even holds, but between Marlon Humphrey and a hopefully healthy Marcus Peters, you should be okay in that position. Maybe Amon Marshall ends up being a key piece for you. But you're looking for help, either another outside guy or maybe more likely a nickel corner later on in the draft. If Derek Stingley is there in round 1 and failing that, maybe you pursue a Trent McDuffie, I'd be totally on board with that pick. Stingley, his freshman year was some of the best corner film we've seen in a long time as a true freshman in the SEC at like 18 years old. Yeah, it was incredible. The problem is the past 2 years, he hasn't been that great. He's been injured. He's been banged up. He's missed time. It's not a question of is he the same player. It's can he get back to that player. I think it's still in there, but is he healthy? Does he have the desire, the want to be an elite corner? Because it's a fair question to go, LSU was bad the past 2 years. Did you just not want to risk getting hurt? Were you making business decisions in college? Which I get, but you got to vet that. Now, if you don't go Stingley in round 1, I would love Roger McCreary in round 2. I think you'd have to take him in the second round. Not a big-time turnover player, only 2 interceptions, but he was incredibly sticky in coverage. He was a lockdown guy at Auburn, awesome production. Now, he has tiny arms. That will ding him for several teams, but if you play him at nickel, maybe you feel better about those needs. And a cornerback grouping of Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters, and Roger McCreary is really good, both short-term and I think very promising long-term as well. Now, when it comes to Marcus Peters, do you still think he'll be an elite corner this year? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. And while you're down there, by the way, make sure you subscribe to get the best Ravens draft coverage on YouTube. We'll break down all the picks as they happen. We'll do grades for you guys and keep you guys covered with the news and rumors around draft visits, etc. One note, by the way, on corner, would not be mad if the team double-dipped at that position in this year's draft. All right, number 3 need, there's almost an asterisk on this one, is center. Patrick McCreary can be your center option. You've also got some uncertainty around your left tackle, Ronnie Stanley, and his long-term health. You have the Benz, Cleveland, and Powers as potential options at guard. Tyree Phillips could also play some right tackle. If you're going to make an O-line move, I think center makes the most sense. That way you can make McCreary your super sub as needed on the offensive line. If you want to roll with McCreary, I get that. I think you're looking for either an instant impact upgrade or a later round depth backup option who's better than Tristan Colon-Castillo. So round 1, your instant upgrade is Tyler Linderbaum. Now, I don't think he's an ideal, perfect one-to-one fit for a Ravens team that likes to use some power runs. But despite being undersized, both in weight and length, Linderbaum was dominant at Iowa. This is one of my favorite prospects in this year's class. If you're talking about taking a center in round 2, I'm not that much on board. Linderbaum in round 1, or even via a trade down, is a great value from a talent perspective for Baltimore. Now, if you want to wait until, this is probably more of what I would argue your 4th round option, about Luke Fortner out of Kentucky. He held up very well for the Wildcats this year and last year. Also has some nice guard experience, some flexibility there. If you're not taking Linderbaum in round 1, I kind of don't want to go center in round 2 and probably not round 3, because I think your round 3 guy is similar to your 4th round guy. That could be someone like Fortner. The Ravens draft hats, the official ones for this year's draft, are available with our friends over at Fanatics. Head over to chatsports.com/Ravens draft hats. We'll put that link in the comment section and in the description. These hats actually look good. Unlike other teams, no names, Raiders, Cowboys, who used white text on white text, the gold against the purple actually pops, and it's actually readable. And I always like the blackout version as well. It does say Ravens on black, but the purple and black worked. It's a really good color scheme the Ravens have been able to use for these draft hats. So check it out today. Chatsports.com/Ravens draft hats. Linebacker is next up here because there really aren't that many screaming needs, I don't think, for this Ravens team. Is Patrick Queen going to be a long-term piece? I certainly hope so. They've brought back Josh Bynes. I'm kind of out on Malik Harrison, so I would not be opposed to another potential, at least early down, rotational player for this team. Devin Lloyd would be your round 1 target. I think he'd be an upgrade over Josh Bynes. He'd be your Mike linebacker, short-term, long-term. You could still give Patrick Queen a chance to be your weak side linebacker in that 3-4 scheme. Lloyd's production, as you can see, is nutty. 111 tackles, 22 TFLs, 8 sacks, 4 INTs. Did not test the fastest at the combine, but at his size, he is still a good athlete. 14's probably on the earlier side of his range, but you can't be too mad at it, given his impact and his talent ability. Channing Tindall is next up here, another SEC player at Georgia. His production wasn't elite. He's only had 1 year as a rotation because he never started a game in the collegiate level because Georgia was so loaded at the linebacker position. He's fast as all get out, though. So you got to be patient with Tindall. I think is a good round 3 option for the Baltimore Ravens. But that speed you can't teach. Give him time. He could be a nice starter for you in the NFL. Finally, defensive line. This need is kind of dropping down, almost got caught by receiver, at least for me. You sign Michael Pierce. You bring back Calais Campbell. You're hoping for more stuff out of Justin Matabike. So you're looking for an impact guy, potentially. How about Jordan Davis in round 1? Now, the upside here is tantalizing, right? Freak athlete, one of the best testers at factoring in size in combine history because people his size are not supposed to move the way that he does. So Davis does appeal to me in round 1. That makes it probably rotation to an extent with Michael Pierce early on, but long term, there's your future nose guard, your run stopper who I think has more upside to do more than what he did recently at Georgia as a pass rusher. If you want to wait around, he's looking for more of that nose guard type. How about Travis Jones? You could do Perrion Winfrey and other guys as more of a 5 tech or the 3 tech for that scheme. Those DTs. Nose guard-wise, Travis Jones, had it not been for Jordan Davis, we all know about how good Jones was at the Combine because he was also pretty freaky and has had a more proven pass rush productivity than Jordan Davis did at Georgia. And then Phidarian Mathis, too. I'll go one more here. If you want more of that defensive end in the 3-4 scheme, the think the more Calais Campbell long-term replacement, Derek Wolfe replacement, that is Phidarian Mathis. He can play some nose guard for you as needed, but he's not quite that true zero tech the same way Davis and Jones are. So I want to hear from you guys before we go. Who is your can't-miss prospect this year? Head down to the comments section and let me know which player or players, if you want to be an overachiever, you think are incredible in this year's draft.